Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the weekend. I'm Amber from Influencer Updates, and this is Friday Night Live, where I do a weekly update of the hottest influencer topics, and then followed by a Q&A where you can ask questions in the comment section and I'll answer them live. So thanks everyone for joining. 121 already. Okay, that's crazy. Thanks everyone for joining. If you want to start asking questions in the comment section, you can now, and I'll get back to it at the end after I've done the update. So I'll just log in on my iPad because it makes it easier for me to see the questions that way. Right. By the way, I'm here with my favourite drink, the Schweppes mineral water with a hint of lemon and lime. I'm not drinking alcohol just in case it looks that way. All right, so, sorry, I'm just gonna have another sip. I do also upload these to YouTube afterwards where you can watch it right from the start if you do miss anything. And I'm thinking I'm going to start putting timestamps on the YouTube videos so that when people go back and watch it, they can just skip to the bits that they want to hear about. So I can already see that the biggest question coming through is my first update here, which is Olivia Molly Rogers and Morgan Waterhouse. So they recently went to Bali for a holiday together and they got back about 2.5 weeks ago. And when Olivia Molly Rogers returned, she has been doing fertility treatment where she was putting injections into her stomach and harvesting eggs from her uterus, I guess, and then freezing them. So it's a fertility treatment to save the eggs to hopefully use later. Anyway, so since she got back from Bali, we have not seen any signs of Morgan Waterhouse. He's been commenting on a few things and he's been uploading TikToks, but it's old footage and he's been tagging her in them. So it seemed like things were still civil or still happening between the pair. But she's since finished the fertility treatment and there's still no sign of him. And there's definitely big rumours swirling that they have split. So yeah, it's now been about 2.5 weeks, so it's really not looking good, but hopefully we're wrong, but we'll see on that one. Sorry, I don't actually have an answer, but I just thought I'd explain the situation for those of you who aren't aware. The other huge news of the week, well, the only really huge news of the week, is there was a video of Tammy Hembrow and Matt Zukowski outside the Star Casino on the Gold Coast at 10:30 p.m. on Saturday night. So that was sent to me by a follower who was just happening to drive past them and saw them. The follower actually thought that it was, Tommy Bug, who is Shani Grimmon's ex-boyfriend. So she sent it to me and she's like, oh my gosh, I've just seen Tammy Hembrow cuddling a man outside the casino. I think it's Tommy Bug, Shani Grimmon's ex. And I was like, that's Matt Zukowski. I have met him on a podcast interview that I did with him. So I've met him virtually and I've followed him and I've watched Love Island and I was like, that's definitely him. But I wasn't positive enough. So I wrote on the caption, Matt Zukowski, is that you? And then it was confirmed by a very reliable source within minutes that yes, it was him. And yeah, the rest is history, I suppose. The whole internet has now seen that video, it seems. And yeah, I think that that's really exciting. People love Tammy Hembrow's love life. If you listen to the interview I did with Matt 4 months ago on the Where's Your Head At podcast, I actually mentioned Tammy Hembrow, and I remember at the time I was saying that her relationship updates are the most popular topic I could possibly talk about. People just love to know. And I remember at the time he was a bit quiet, and I was thinking, okay, fair enough, maybe he doesn't know who Tammy Hembrow is. But now in hindsight, I'm like, have they been talking for 4 months, or did he just sort of keep quiet because he was just listening, or did he actually not know who she was 4 months ago? I'm not actually sure what the truth is there anymore, but it's interesting all the same. And also speaking of Matt and Tammy, last night, Matt Zukowski and his co-host of the Where's Your Head At podcast, his co-host Anna McEvoy, also from Love Island, she won season 2. Yeah, I think it was season 2. They hosted a live event in Melbourne. So they did contact me on Tuesday. This was after I posted the video of Matt and Tammy. So no, Matt is not mad about it. So they invited me to their podcast last night And the only reason why I hadn't bought tickets already is because I didn't have anyone to go with. So my sister, who would normally come to these things with me, she was going to Hamilton Island this morning at 5 a.m. So she didn't want to be going out in Melbourne last night. And then my husband had to stay home with the children. And then my friends work or have kids or whatever. They didn't want to come. But because they asked me and they said I could have a free ticket, I'm like, I'm just going to go by myself. So I caught the train up there on my own, and it was actually just, it wasn't weird at all. Like, I wasn't scared on the train. I loved the event. It was so, so good. And they had guests there. So the first guest was Laken, who is a singer from The Voice years ago. And Anna told a really funny story about him. I won't tell the story because they are going to release the live events as a podcast, so you'll hear a bit more details when they do that. The next guests were Izzy Armitage and Sam Guggs. So Sam Guggs and Izzy Armitage, sorry. So they have a podcast as well called Just for Girls, and they used to be besties with Sophie Dopha. So it was question time, and somebody said, tell us about Sophie Dopha, like, are you still friends with her? Because it's recently come out that they are no longer friends. So Sam took over for that one, answering, and she said that they're not still friends, but they have different morals and different goals. But if they saw each other out, they would still talk to each other. So I think it was a very diplomatic answer. Like, she spoke very well. She's tiny, by the way. Like, she's so, so tiny, and she's just so stunning. After they'd done their interview, they actually sat in the front row, and I was in the second row. They sat in the 2 seats in front of me, and both of them are just so stunning, and they're both just so, like, happy and cute and sweet, and they were just, like, so lovely to everyone, and it was really cool to see them. So Izzy Armitage, she is the ex-girlfriend of Bailey Smith, the footy player. And she said that, like, there was one segment of the live event where they were all talking about things that, like, an ex has done while they were on a relationship break. And she said that Bailey slept with 70 women while they were on a break. So I'm not sure if she was exaggerating with that figure, but either way, it's sort of, I don't know, it leans into that opinion we have of football players that, you know, we think that they do sleep around a lot, and I think that she was confirming that. As for Sam Guggs' boyfriend, he is on the same team as Bailey Smith, and he was there at the event as well, just in the audience, and they were asking, like, what happens to Sam, like, if she sees Bailey at an event or something, and, you know, Sam said she's polite and says hello, and Izzy was just being funny and joking. She's like, I hate it. Don't talk to him. So that was quite funny. They were good. The other special guest was Ciarran Stott. So he is from, like, The Challenge. He's from The Bachelor in Paradise. He's from lots of different shows. And yeah, he's basically a walking red flag, in my opinion. I think that's the personality he plays on all of these shows. And he did some blind dates. So he had to wear a blindfold, and they had 6 people come up from the audience, and he had to interview them, but obviously couldn't see them. And one of the 6 blind dates was actually Izzy Armitage, who is single. And it was really funny. She went by the alias Jessica. And in the end, after all the interviewing, he picked her, which was so funny. But they had a drink together out the back afterwards, apparently. And she was like, nah, not keen at all. So she was just so blunt and funny. He also... Oh, no, I've got that other stuff in Close Friends. I've got videos of a lot of this stuff in Close Friends, but I won't explain it all on live. And then the final piece of juicy info was there was question time for Anna and Matt at the end. And of course, the first question was, Matt, are you dating Tammy Hembrow? And it was actually a say it or shot it game. So he had to actually say the answer, or he had to take a shot. So when he was asked, are you dating Tammy Hembrow? He laughed, leaned over, took a shot, and was like, okay, next. Like, next question. So the next question was, Matt, where were you last weekend? And he was like, oh, I was on a trip. Yep. And the next question was, where was the trip? And he was like, Surfer's Paradise. So I think that, well, I know that definitely he was with Tammy. That is definitely him in the video, and he was playing it very cool, not wanting to give anything away, too much away, but also he knows, everyone knows kind of thing. And yeah, I think that that's really exciting for them. He seems like a really great guy. And then Anna's fiance was there too as well, Michael Staples. So got to meet him as well. And yeah, got to meet them both afterwards, and that was really fun. Loved it so much. And they're also doing a show in Brisbane and maybe other places as well, but their next one's Brisbane. Maybe Tammy will be there as a special guest, who knows? And then finally, for the update, I'll just mention that I did the blind items this week, which were super, super popular as always. And yeah, like I think a lot of people don't understand blind items. It's not something I've made up. It's something, I think Deux Moi, that account, the other like huge worldwide gossip account, they created blind items maybe, or popularized them, let's say that. And yeah, what you do is you blank out the names because these gossip tips are unverified. So it's potentially defamatory to be posting this stuff without the names blanked out. But the fun of it is guessing, but people don't get it. They don't like guessing, and they send me messages and they're really mad. And they're like, tell us who it is. Don't post it if you're not going to tell us who it is. And I'm like, you kind of don't get it. Like, if you guess, I will tell you. Like, that's part of the fun. Like, just have a guess. But as you all know, if you do sign up to Close Friends membership, and so many people did, so thank you all to the new followers. But if you do sign up to Close Friends, you do get the answers. And I have picked ones, like there's been a lot of things sent in that are illegal. Like people will be like, oh, this person did a hit and run and no one ever found out about it. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to post that because if it's true, it's illegal and it could really defame that person. Like I'm limited to what I can post. There's other ones like, this person was caught shoplifting. I worked at the supermarket and they're banned from our store. I'm like, well, again, I can't really publish that without proof. So like if people send me proof, that's fine, but I can't publish that stuff without proof in case it's not true. All right. So I'm going to start on the questions now. Thank you to everyone who has submitted questions. That makes it really fun. First question, another person called Amber. My name's Amber. Someone's asked, what star sign am I? I'm a Sagittarius. Keeping up with Aussie influencers. They're a new influencer account and they watch every week. Thank you. They have said hello. So what happened between Sophia and Holly? So I'm not sure what happened between Sopha Dopha and Holly Mueller, but recently I posted publicly that they were, I don't know, they had a fight or something and weren't friends anymore. But then Holly's sister Phoebe, she messaged me saying, this isn't true, they're definitely still friends. And I was like, oh, okay, weird that this person has heard otherwise, because the person who sent it to me, they backed it up kind of thing. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. But now, Sopha and her friend Carla Poot, I think her surname is, they've both unfollowed Holly. So something's definitely going on with that group. Something weird's going on because Sopha is also no longer friends with Sam, Gugs and Izzy Armitage. So I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe they're all just like young and famous and all just hot-headed and follow and unfollow all the time. But yes, it's a bit tumultuous. Do influencers get paid as well when they go on trips, or is the trip their payment? Oh, I've just washed my hair and it's all over my top. Yes, so some of them do get paid. It really depends on the influencer. So, for example, Tammy Hembrow, she is a big influencer. She would probably get paid to go on a trip. So would big ones like maybe Lauren Curtis and Shani Grimmond. And yeah, so the big ones, they probably do get paid. But the smaller ones, they wouldn't get paid to go on a trip. The trip would be their payment. And it also just depends on the brand. It depends on the proposal they make to the influencer. They might say, oh, we're going to cover the trip. And the influencer might be like, well, yeah, that's a trip I really want to go on. So it just depends on the management and the negotiations. Someone's told me what their dinner tonight was, because we used to always do at the start. People would tell me what they had for dinner. I had Westfield Food Court, which was, I went there with my daughters and my husband, and I got just like a big fried rice with honey chicken and satay chicken and veggies, and then I shared that with my daughters because they love that and they gobbled it all up. Can you please do your own podcast, please? I'm not going to do a podcast anytime soon. I would love to, but it's just, I love to focus my time on Instagram and the close friends subscribers, and to do all of that on top of a podcast. A podcast would just be so time consuming. And also, I've said this before, but I feel with a podcast, once I say something, it's published, and if it's wrong, I can't take it back or sorry, I'm speaking like Sarah's Day. Sarah's Day speaks like this. Yeah, so once I say it on the podcast, I can't take it back or update it. Whereas when I'm on Instagram, if I say something and then I find out it's wrong, I can just take it down, or I can put up a new story saying, sorry, that was wrong. So my fear is a little bit of like defamation. Like, I don't want to say anything that might get me in trouble. And yeah, just the amount of work that would go into it, because I do a lot of my work with my children around, and to do a podcast, I would obviously have to have silence. But yeah, I do like doing podcast interviews, so I think that that's what I'll keep doing for now. Also, if you want to write in the comments, if I was to do another interview or like do an episode with So Dramatic, we have talked about it before, what would you like me to do? Like, do you still want me to do just like the normal interviews that I do where they ask me questions and I answer them, or should we do something just a bit different? We don't know what we should do. Do listen to Deux Moi. So I'm guessing that's the Deux Moi podcast. No, I don't. I find that Deux Moi is too broad. Like, there's just so many people that they talk about, whereas I prefer the Outspoken podcast or the So Dramatic podcast, or like my Instagram, where it's very niche and sticks to Australian influencers or Australian reality stars. It's just a little bit boring, I find. It's not boring, but it's just hard to guess. So with Deux Moi, they blank things out, or they say like, you know, this person, and I'm like, I have no idea. There's just too many options kind of thing. So yeah, I just got a bit overwhelmed with it. People are saying that the video didn't look like Matt Zukowski. Well, not sure why, because it is. I did post videos on Close Friends about, like, of him answering these questions and taking the shots and things. It was quite funny. Oh, someone's saying bring my mum. Yeah, I probably could have taken her to the podcast, but she actually lives 4 hours away, so it would have to be coincidental that she was here, which she wasn't. Someone says that they love these weekly updates and they love Close Friends. Thank you. I also love doing the weekly updates. And I also love posting the Close Friends. What do you think of Emmylou taking the kids out of school just so they can film her? I think it's child abuse. So this is the sort of thing where I'm saying, I don't have proof of this. I don't have proof that she takes her children out of school to film her. Maybe she is getting the content filmed before school or after school. Maybe they have curriculum days. I don't know. So for me to make an opinion on that is a bit silly, because I don't have proof. But this is what I was talking about with the blind items. Like, I can't just publish this stuff without evidence. Have I noticed Sophie Guidolin is always posed in photos and videos? She can't ever be relaxed. Yes, I have noticed, as are all of the fitness influencers. So if you look at any fitness influencer, be like Rachel Dillon, Kayla Houlihan. Oh, speaking of Rachel Dillon, she got engaged this week to Kayla Houlihan's ex-husband, Toby Pierce. So that's really exciting for them. And obviously Kayla is engaged to Jai Woodruff. Yeah, Jay Woodruff. Ashy Bines, another fitness influencer, Chantel Duncan, Tammy Hembrow, Sophie Guidolin. They all pose and tense really hard in all of their photos. And that's why a lot of the time when people see them in real life, they say they look really different to their photos. And that's because, yes, they are relaxed in real life. And I think that it's actually a bit of an issue in that sometimes they'll post like before and after photos, and the before photos will be them relaxed and not posing, and then the after photos are them tensed up and posing. Emily Skye Fit, actually, she's done some videos before where she'll show her body relaxed, and then in like, it'll be a side-by-side image, and then in the other video she'll show it tensed and posing, and it's literally within 10 seconds of each other, the photos, and she'll show you what a difference it can make tensing and posing. So it's very eye-opening. Sarah's Day has lost so much weight. I hope she's okay. I think that she's pregnant, which would make sense why she's lost weight. A lot of people do lose weight when they are first pregnant because they are quite nauseous. So that would fit that health concern, I suppose. She also has been really sick this week with influenza A. And I had that when I was 8 months pregnant, and I was experiencing all the things that she's been experiencing where I actually could not get out of bed. I think it was for 5 days. It did turn into a chest infection as well, which was just horrendous. So yeah, I can really feel for Sarah this week. Even if she's not pregnant, it's absolutely horrible to look after kids when you've got influenza. Whew. It's the worst. Lots of people commenting about Sophie Guidolin posing and tensing. A lot of people about Sarah's day. A lot of people about Matt and Tammy. What do I think about Lily Brown's podcast? So I mentioned last week that I had listened to her first episode, and I found that she spoke about a lot of people and a lot of things without name dropping, and kind of annoyed me. I don't know if annoyed's the right word, but I was like, just say the names. Like, even when she was talking about her boyfriend, she was talking for ages about this celebrity that she's with and everything. And then at the end, she's like, Jet. And I was like, Jet Kenny, like, just tell us. His name's Jet Kenny. For like people who don't know, his name is Jet Kenny. And even how she was saying, like, thank you to her friends for giving her YouTube career a boost. Like, say their names. It's Shani and Michael, like Shani Grimmett and Michael Finch. Like, say their names. And even when she was talking about her brand, like her clothing brand, she didn't say the name Chill. Like, I just wanted her to say the names of these things. But maybe she didn't want to seem like she's name dropping. I don't know. But I'm yet to listen to her episode with Natalie, her mum. So that's next on my list. I do often listen to podcasts, like pretty much every day actually. And if they're pop culture ones about Aussie influencers, I do summaries on Close Friends where I just summarize all the best bits of the podcast. And that way people don't have to listen to them, or they might read the summary and be like, oh, that sounds good. And then they can go listen to them. But a lot of people have said it's helpful because they don't have the time to listen to them and they can just read my summary. Oh, the Shameless Girls did a meetup in London for all of their followers. That's really fun. I love that they're over there, as well as Laura Henshaw and Steph Claire Smith. I would just love to be in London. I actually lived in London for a year when I was 24. I'm now 34. And it was the best year of my life. I mean, it's not like I would want that to be every year of my life, but it was just such a good year and I just loved it. What do you think about Henny and Harpoon breaking up? So Henny Moody, she's the woman who did that video recently about influencers, how they're not, something about like get up off your ass and stop complaining if you want to be like them. Like the difference between them and you is that they don't complain, they actually just do it. And everybody like was so up in arms about it. It's just what's it called? Like something ownership. I can't remember what it's called, but like, you know, when you just take complete ownership of everything in your life comes down to you. That's what she preaches basically, but it is very offensive to some people because there's obviously a lot of privilege involved in that. Financial privilege, like appearance privilege, connections privilege, like just so much privilege. But anyway, Henny Moody and her boyfriend have recently just broken up. She released a statement saying, you know, it's all very amicable and it sucks, but like, can everybody please understand they're going through a lot of emotions right now and they don't want lots of questions or whatever. And in contrast to that, Harpoon, I think his name's Ryan, he made a statement saying that, you know, he was almost crying when he was talking. He's saying, you know, he's in the worst place he's been of his life right now and he's just going through so much, but he has a new song coming out, so he needs to let everybody know, but it just sucks because it's such bad timing. So it's just interesting, the contrast in their statements. He did also share Henny's statement on his story, but yeah, it doesn't sound like it's as amicable as they're letting on. And I think that's the case with most influencer breakups. They always say, oh, you know, like we're still really good friends, but I just don't buy it. But yeah, I don't know why they broke up. I guess watch this space. Is Em Davies still friends with the Jagger girls now that Lily isn't? Yes, she is still besties with them. And yes, Lily Brown mentioned on her podcast that she is not friends with them and she doesn't want to give them any airtime. So it sounds like she's still definitely not friends with them. Someone's asking with the blind items, if it's not true, isn't that defamatory? So no, saying something that is not true is not automatically defamatory. It's only defamatory if it tarnishes the reputation of that person, basically. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but this is what I have understood. So yeah, if I'm saying something that could potentially impact a brand deal that influencer might have, like that would be defamatory, because you can put a financial amount on the damage that I've caused that person. But the defamation also goes as far as like mental damage as well as financial damage. So yeah, like basically you just need to not say stuff that's going to harm people online if it's not true. There is also some clauses, defenses. So a defense is if it is a genuine opinion. So I could say, for example, a review of a product, like that is a genuine opinion. Like this is for example, a clothing brand of an influencer. So I could say, this is the worst brand I've ever bought. Like I remember when Ashy Bines, like she used to have the brand Toned, and people would post photos of like damaged stock and they'd say, this brand is terrible, I hated it, blah, blah. Like if it's a genuine opinion, it can't be defamatory, even if it does cause that person to lose sales because of it. But yeah, that's how that works as far as I'm aware. A lot of people are really shocked by Henny and Harpoon breaking up. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with social media, isn't it? Everything seems perfect until it's not. Same with Olivia Molly Rogers and Morgan Waterhouse. Everything seemed perfect, and then all of a sudden she stopped posting him. So yeah, it's all a bit crap. Adele Marie, hi, influencer. She must also be a Sagittarius because she said yes, Sag Queen. Someone's saying Holly and Sopha saw each other a few weekends ago. Yes, they did, but they have now unfollowed each other. Did you find out why Ashy Bines is sad? Yes. So it turns out it was her final week with her dog Scooby, who she has had for 15 years. So he was sadly put down yesterday. And I have heard that losing an animal, like losing a pet, is actually more traumatizing or more upsetting than losing a parent, because generally as an adult you live with your pet and that pet is part of your life, whereas you don't live with your parents. I mean, obviously both are completely horrible, but yeah, I've heard that losing a pet is very, very awful. So I really feel for her. I've never had a pet, which is a bit of a fun fact. Not even as a child, like literally never had a pet. Have Molly Cook and Leash broken up? So people have been asking me this for about a month now, or probably 6 weeks actually, since Molly went to Europe. I believe they have. They also haven't confirmed it, but they don't post together anymore. Molly moved houses just recently, which they were living together, Molly and Leash, and it seems they're now not. It seems that she broke up before they went to Europe. Before Molly went to Europe with Sopha, not with Leash. So yeah, that sucks for them. Everyone's breaking up lately. Bailey Scarlett's on here. Oh my gosh, Bailey, I have been following your turkey surgery updates so closely. It's intense, girl. That is so intense. She has a highlight on her stories. So bailey.scarlett with 2 T's. And yeah, she got a facelift, her 4th breast augmentation, as well as maybe like liposuction and fat transfer to her hip dips. So yeah, a lot of work, full body compression garments, very hectic. And by the way, if Bailey is listening, or even if she's not, she was a 10 out of 10, well, 20 out of 10 before all this surgery. She's also an OnlyFans model and lives in Bali, but she is Australian. Thoughts on Aussie Mum Vlogger making a vlog about family bust-ups but is silent about making up? Do you think it was more a problem with Kurt and the family? No, I don't. So she did talk about how she seems to have different morals to her family and isn't talking to them anymore. This was a while ago. Something happened with her wedding. I don't know if it was before her wedding or at her wedding. But yeah, she's been mentioning like on her podcast and stuff that she's trying to make up with them. I think it's more that it's just a long process of making up with them. Like, when you don't speak to your family, to let them back in might be a bit of a slow process. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's a problem with that. Someone has to leave early, footy final fever with their partner. Sorry, everyone, if you are watching the footy. I personally do not enjoy sport at all. I said that a few weeks ago and people said I'm not Australian. But that's just another fun fact. Oh yeah, Skye Wheatley. She is also very intense with her posing and tensing in photos. Someone's saying that who's pregnant, that they missed the start. So as I said, I do upload these to YouTube. So I'm going to start putting timestamps on them as well so that people can go to the bits that they're interested in. But yeah, I believe, it's just my opinion, that Sarah's Day could be pregnant. Just some things. She's been posting about like food cravings and things. So yeah, watch this space. But then also another reason why is because she has said she wants to have more children. Like, it's not completely random, this speculation. Did I see that Skye Wheatley posted that she was annoyed at the doctor for not diagnosing her with ADHD? Yes, so I have spoken about this with a few people in like DMs. So Skye Wheatley posted recently that she was seeing some doctors or psychologists and they had diagnosed her with BPD, borderline personality disorder. And she was saying she doesn't believe she has it because her sister had it and her mum had it. And they were, I think she used the word like psychotic or psycho or something, and all the meds made them psycho. But yeah, she used some less than flattering terms. And I also thought, I hope she's got permission from them to disclose that diagnosis. But anyway, she believes she has ADHD. She doesn't believe she has BPD, borderline personality disorder. So I don't know, it sounds like she's just going to find some other medical professionals that maybe agree that she has ADHD, but she's also said she doesn't want to take the medication for it. I think she said that. So yeah, I'm not really sure what her overall goal is with that. Do you keep up with the Herbert twins, or not so much since they're living in LA? I was keeping up with them for a bit. So one of them was dating a guy called Bazzy, I think it was, and there was like a breakup and then they got back together, so that was all a bit interesting. But I don't really keep up with them, only because the way I choose who to keep up with is really based on my DMs, like what people are sending to me. And also, like, when I post stuff, if people are replying, I know that they're interested. So like, if I post about Brittany Saunders, heaps of people will DM me and be like, you know, love this, don't love this, and I know that she's really popular. Whereas then sometimes I'll post about a different influencer and no one will even just DM me. So I'm like, okay, I won't post about them again. So it's really based on the demand. So if people want to message me stuff about the Herbert twins, I'll definitely talk about them. I do find them very interesting. They're actually triplets, by the way. They have a brother who is a triplet with them. But they're obviously identical and he is fraternal. No, I don't know what the word is. Not identical. Did not vibe with Jack and Courtney's podcast last night. I didn't even know they had a podcast. So Jack is an ex-Maths character who was with Dom, and Courtney is an ex-Love Island character who they are now pregnant together. So I did not know they had a podcast, but I was talking to you today actually. DM me after this because I would like to be reminded and I will have a look at that podcast. That sounds really interesting. What fat grafting did Skye Wheatley have done? Saw on her stories but never said where it was transferred to. So if you look on TikTok, as part of Skye Wheatley's recent breast implants, she had liposuction on her inner thighs, which she says is minor. And then that fat was harvested and transferred to the middle of her breasts. So that way it like helps build up the tissue or something. She explains it on TikTok in the comments. More people asking about Jack and Courtney's podcast. Interesting. What about Ashy's Trolls podcast? Yeah, so that was one that I did listen to. Ashy Bines this week, she did a podcast about trolls. and I did summarize that on Close Friends. So yeah, I mean, she spoke about the Facebook group that existed, I think she said 7 to 8 years ago. So there was a Facebook group that was dedicated to all things Ashy Bines, all things Ashy Bines and her friends, all their brands, all their children. Like, it was everything about them, and every single day there were like 50 different things in there. It was very, very interesting. But Ashy Bines and Grady Rose, I believe, from what I've heard, they took legal action against the creators of the group, and then it was shut down. And Ashy has said that that was a really, really hard time of her life in terms of trolls. So that really sucks. She also said that she believes that people go on tattle because they find like community amongst like hating on someone. So I don't know. I think that it was very interesting hearing her side of the story. She did say a whole lot of like self-help things, like trolls help her identify her triggers, and she now knows how to control her nervous system to deal with this sort of stuff. So I don't know, her and Ciarran, they made it sound like everything's all positive now, but they also said that you'd be silly to say that it doesn't bother you. Like, it clearly does bother them a bit. But Ashy also said she used to just delete and block everyone that said bad things, but she said that she's not doing that anymore. So that sounds interesting. I have actually noticed that on her TikTok that she sometimes gets negative comments and doesn't delete them, whereas she used to do that all the time on her Instagram, delete comments. Okay. I hope everything is okay with Jagger and Stone Girls' business. They seem like good eggs. Yes, that was one of the blind items, wasn't it? Oops, sorry. Sorry about those of you who are having dinner. Someone said that the surgery talk was a bit much. Oh yeah, Olivia Mathers. She now has OnlyFans. So she also has Instagram subscription, which I'm guessing would be a very different target audience. So the Instagram subscription would be for probably women her age that like following her for like fashion, fitness, whatever. Whereas OnlyFans would be more lingerie and things. But yeah, I'm very surprised that she started OnlyFans. I feel like it really changes her overall branding. Like, I think that she has always been seen as a very serious model, and yeah, it could definitely affect the work that she gets. I wonder if it is a reason why her and Adam Sullivan split. Maybe she wanted to start OnlyFans and he didn't support that. So that's just me speculating. I don't have any proof of that. But yeah, I was a bit surprised by it. Indy Clinton baby name guesses. Sorry, I just am so bad at guessing names. Like, it's obviously going to be something really random. Like, I never would have guessed Navy or Bambi. It honestly could be anything. It's too hard to pick something. Sorry. Someone said they can't keep watching the whole time because they want to look up the people I'm talking about. What you could do, if you have an iPad, you could actually use the iPad. That's what I do. So like, you can be like looking up someone on your iPad while I'm talking if you want. That's just an idea. Nice to see Maria Fatil and Moana Hope step out as a couple too. Yes, so that's been about 6 weeks in the making, I reckon, that we've been talking about that. Maybe 8 weeks. But yeah, it's really nice that they're now happy to be out there and yeah, letting everyone know that they're together. Do you think Anna Paul and Glenn really did break up? Yes. Yeah, I do think they broke up. That's interesting. Hadn't considered that maybe they haven't broken up, but I do think that the timing of the announcement was to make the most of her brand launch. So Paullie, their skincare brand, that is launching 5 p.m. on Sunday. Everybody's assuming it's going to be a sellout, of course. I think the whole set is $105 and then you get a free headband as well. I really want to buy it just because of the hype. It's really funny how that works, isn't it? Like, when you think it's going to sell out, you want to try and buy it. It was the same with Taylor Swift tickets, and I don't even like Taylor Swift. Like, it's so weird how hype works, but I'm really a sucker for it. And also weird because like skincare, I use my sister's skincare. Well, she no longer owns Tribe Skincare, but I still am using all of the products. But yeah, I think I'm very interested to see reviews of the skincare. Hopefully it's good for sensitive skin, because I think her target audience probably have sensitive skin, being that they are quite young. Oh gosh, what's happened to Jessie and Millie? So everyone's saying so sorry. Oh, their 15-year-old dog died last week too. It's really sad for everyone. At least everyone's been really nice to Ashy about it. I'm really happy to see that, because people can be so mean to her, and it's really nice that everyone's being so sympathetic. Any other topics? That's everything. So we're finished in 40 minutes this week. So thank you everybody who has tuned in, and I think that we've had a lot this week, 463 at the moment. But yeah, thank you to everybody who signed up to Close Friends this week. There's been so many who wanted to see the blind items, and it's been really fun getting to know all the new people, like sending me DMs and stuff. Oh, sorry, there's a whole heap of questions coming through now. Isn't your sister a silent partner in Paullie Skincare? So many people are saying that, but no. Holly Days is my sister's new TikTok account. She is starting a new skincare brand in the new year, and it's going to be called Holly Days. And she did a TikTok video on the fact that Sam Mangan is a co-owner of Paullie Skincare. But no, Kayla is not a co-owner of Paullie Skincare. All right, well, thank you, everybody. Send me a DM if you've got any questions about anything I've said tonight. And yeah, I'll put the YouTube catch-up video up. I might put it up tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. So yeah, thank you, everyone. Bye.